Welcome to the Fit Mum in 20 podcast. I'm your host, Cassie McEachran. I'm a personal trainer, mum, and two-time business owner, and this is your go-to podcast for all things fat loss for busy mums. We're going to dive deep into all things health, mindset, and mum life. The purpose of this podcast is to take you out of overwhelm and have you showing up for yourself even when mum life feels hard as fuck. I know you're busy, so these bite-sized episodes will be 20 minutes or less so you can quickly get access to the tools and practical strategies you need in order to tone up and tighten your mum tongue. I know you're in exactly the right place to stop with just barely surviving the daily mum grind and instead start absolutely thriving in it, knowing that when you thrive, your kids and family do too. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Fit Mum in 20 podcast. Today, given the time of year, I wanted to actually talk about New Year's resolutions. I actually got an email the other day with the subject line, New Year, New You. And when you go in, it's one of these things promising you like 6 weeks to this amazing transformation. And you have a look at like the logistics and things involved. And it's the same as everything else. There's no personalization. It's just the same crap every other coach is spouting, and it's coming from someone who doesn't even have kids. So it's even less relevant to a busy mum. And it got me thinking about how many people actually make and then stick to their New Year's resolutions and actually achieve their goals. So I went and Googled it because that's what I do. So according to Women's Health Australia statistics, over the past 5 years, 40% of people have actually set a fitness or weight loss related goal. And 54% of that 40% actually give up. And the really interesting part is when you look at the people that quit, 23% of them quit within the first week and 43% are done by the end of January. So why is it that the fail rate when it comes to fitness and weight loss resolutions is so high? When you look at what actually happens, most people try to overhaul absolutely everything at once. And it doesn't matter what method you choose for fat loss or weight loss or whatever your goal is. Monday hits and suddenly everyone's going to work out every day. Everybody's meal prepping everything. Everyone's cutting out all of their sugar. Everyone's drinking 3 liters of water. Everyone's getting 8 hours of sleep. And of course, they can't sustain it. They don't have the right systems in place. They fall victim to that all or nothing mindset and perfectionist tendencies. So when they do slip up, which is inevitable because they're trying to change everything overnight, they just think, oh, fuck, I'll just start again when life gets easier. And this is true for everyone across the board. But when it comes to busy mums, I think it's even more true because if we're being really honest, life isn't going to slow down. Things are not going to get easier for a busy mum. Your kids aren't going to suddenly stop needing you. There is no magic remote where you can hit pause. There's going to be school holidays. They're going to get sick. There's going to be dentist appointments, doctor's appointments, running around for extracurricular activities. Your mental load is not just going to magically disappear. And those programs that don't consider this reality are just setting you up to fail before you even actually get started. So what then is the solution for a busy mum who is running around like a blue-ass fly, doing everything for everyone, keeping everyone's schedule in her head, navigating all that stuff and putting herself last all the time? How do you actually get results? Because I talk about it all the time. It is possible to get results while doing these things. And the girls inside of my SuperMUM method are proving that all the time. But what do you actually need to do in order to get results and to be able to actually stick to your New Year's resolution this year? So let's break this down. I'm going to share with you the 3 key steps that I use with all of my SuperMUM clients to get sustainable results. So the first step is what I call a life audit. So before you start making changes and thinking, I'm going to go to the gym 6 days a week, I'm going to meal prep once a week on Sunday, I'm going to do all these things that everybody who doesn't have kids is doing, you need to actually sit down and be honest with yourself about whether or not that is realistic for you, for your kids, for your family, for your lifestyle. It's not about what you think it should look like. It's not about what that childless fitness influencer on Instagram's life looks like. It's not about what they're all telling you to do, get up at 5 a.m. to work out and meal prep on Sundays and all of these things that are just not realistic for us because they have no idea what it's like to try and function on broken sleep or meal prep with a toddler hanging off your leg. So we start by mapping out your actual schedule, not your ideal one, but what really happens from day to day. So what time do you wake up? What time do your kids wake up? Do you have work commitments? What are your work hours each week? What activities and other commitments do you have, such as, soccer or other sport commitments? Then we look at what I call your glass balls and your rubber balls. So obviously in life, especially as a mum, there are some things that you just cannot forget to do. You can't let them slide. You can't forget to take your kids to school. You certainly can't forget to pick your kids up from school. You can't just not feed your kids one night. And then there are rubber balls, things that if you drop them, they will bounce, they won't break, they won't shatter. It's not going to be impossible to put it back together. You'll be able to just come in and pick it up later when you're ready. And these are things like laundry, dishes, having any kind of Instagram worthy or Pinterest worthy house at all times. Even occasionally your exercise routine is a rubber ball. Okay, you can pop it down for one day if the kids get sick and come back to it the next day. So what we do is we map out every recurring task that you need to get done each day and each week. So as I said, your school drop-offs, work commitments, kids activities, anything around the house, all of that. Because only when we can see what your life actually looks like can we figure out where and how new habits are going to fit in. And more importantly, we can see where you're trying to juggle too many balls and what you might actually need to put down temporarily or even permanently. Now, step 2 is about integration and alignment. And this is where the magic really happens. So we take what we've learned from your life audit, create a game plan that actually fits your life. And then from that audit, we can see exactly how much time you realistically have for your training and your meal prep. What this does is actually eliminates the possibility of you getting to the end of the day and thinking, oh fuck, I've still got these 3 things I've got to do and I haven't trained and I actually haven't got anything organized for dinner. Because you have now realistically planned out your day to know what you can fit in. And this step is crucial because it's where we make sure everything aligns with the person that you want to be. So obviously as a mum, you value your family. You value your kids. You value time with them. You want to be present with them. You want to be regulated and not be yelling and screaming at everyone to just hurry up and get out the door all the time. We're not creating a separate fitness schedule that fights against mum life. We are actually fitting it into what you're already doing. And then step 3 is about upgrading your habits. So we all have habits, whether we actually realize this or not. Some of them are helping us, some of them aren't, and some are just there. They're pretty neutral. But instead of trying to create a whole bunch of new habits from scratch, because let's be honest, you've got enough on your plate, we look at what you're already doing and how we can tweak them slightly to become more positive and have a more positive impact on your goals. Let me give you an example. I know for a fact that pretty much every mum, and I don't say all, but pretty much every mum spends at least some time doom scrolling on their phone after their kids go to bed. And I know this because I'm in a bunch of Facebook groups on Facebook, obviously, for mum things. And I've also got a bunch of group chats in both my Facebook Messenger and my WhatsApp. And those hours after Kenzie's in bed, that's when those groups are most active. That's when things are popping off in there because we are all just mindlessly scrolling through Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, whatever we're using. I bet that you all also do a grocery shop each week. That takes you probably an hour, maybe 2, depending on whether you manage to go without the kids or not. What if you took just 15 minutes of one evening scroll, one night a week, and redirected it to something more useful, like doing a click and collect order at Coles and either picking up your groceries the next day or having them delivered. This way, you're still on your phone, but now instead of doom scrolling, you're using the time to save yourself hours at the shops. Plus, when you're ordering online, you're more likely to actually stick to your list and get what you actually need for those healthy meals that you're planning. One small redirect of what you're doing has just upgraded multiple areas of your life. It's got time management and your nutrition overhauled. Really simple. That is what upgrading habits looks like. Taking things you're already doing and making them work for you in multiple ways without it adding time. And this is where it's so different to pretty much every other program. We're not trying to get you to create 400 new habits or completely overhaul your life in one go. You're not going to find any challenges like clean out your pantry at the beginning or anything like that, because that shit's just time consuming and so unnecessary. So this combination of understanding your real life, integrating changes that actually work for you, and then upgrading the habits you already have, this is how you're going to stick to your New Year's resolution this year when you haven't been able to do it before. Because we're not trying to overhaul your entire life or add anything more to your already very full plate. We're just making what you're already doing work better for you. And this is the beauty of systems. And something else that is really important to remember is that you're going to have crazy days. You're going to slip up. That's not just normal. It's actually inevitable. And what frustrates me more than probably anything as a coach is when I'm going through my client check-ins and they're saying things like, oh, had a really shit week. I did really bad this week. I'm really unhappy with my efforts. And then I read their check-ins and they've missed like one workout and everything else was really good. Or they went out for dinner unexpectedly and went over their calories for the week by a couple of hundred, and everything else again was really, really good. So if you do that every week, it can make it hard to progress, but it doesn't mean that you've failed. I think it's only a fail when you don't learn from it. So you went out for dinner unexpectedly and you went over by 300 calories. What can you do differently next time? Maybe you order the barramundi next time instead of the salmon to reduce the fat intake, because you now know that fats are higher in calories than other macros, so that's going to bring your overall calories down. Maybe you order a side of steamed veg and potatoes instead of a salad that's drowned in dressing and hot chips that are deep fried in oil. Maybe you strategically pick an option off the menu that is just higher in protein, or maybe you even look at the menu on your way there, because most places have online menus, and then that way you're not feeling pressured to make a decision in like 30 seconds when you're at the restaurant. Because that's what sustainable results look like, okay? It's not about perfection. It's about learning and adapting as you go. It's about making small, smart choices that add up and compound over time, and not beating yourself up over one missed meal. So this year, before you jump into another program that promises quick fixes but doesn't actually consider your life as a busy mum, think about what you actually need to succeed. Maybe it's just about understanding your life as it is right now and finding opportunities to integrate changes that actually work for you and upgrading the habits that you already have. So I hope you found this helpful. And if it was helpful to you, or you want to learn more about how to make sustainable changes that actually fit your life, please shoot me a DM or an email. I love hearing from you guys, and I always reply to any questions I get.
Remember, you are capable of more than just surviving the daily mum grind. You're built to thrive in it. By showing up for yourself, you are setting the stage for your kids and family to flourish too. Keep moving forward with purpose, and I'll be back soon with more quickfire strategies to get you effortless results. Until next time, keep practicing consistency and embody the strength and love that makes you your kids' real life superhero.